Hello, hello. I'm Ashley Billingsley, and you're listening to PC3 Radio. Today, I am joined with the talented David Jones. So, how are you doing, David?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. So, what made you first get into playing guitar?
It's kind of a long story. When I was in fourth grade, the school I went to offered band, and as a kid that kind of wanted to make noise, annoy my parents, I started clarinet, and they were pretty supportive of it, and they enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, and after a lot of pleading with the band director, I joined percussion because I kind of got bored of clarinet. I don't know why. I thought at the time I maxed it out, like I was good. I thought I was good. I wasn't as good as I thought, but after some begging and pleading, I switched, and then I was in percussion, so even more noise, so that's even better. About a year into it, I had like a little drum kit. I'm beating away on it, doing pretty good. Then months later, I had like a full size kit. Then my buddy at the time, or the kid I was friends with at the time, played saxophone. Then for whatever reason, he picked up guitar and started playing it. And we had like a jam session one day at my house. We kind of got bored, so I was like, yeah, let me play the guitar for a minute. And he showed me Seven Nation Army. Sounded horrible, but I just really enjoyed the twanginess and like the rock sound of it. Um, about a week later, kind of nagged my parents for acoustic, and they weren't like totally opposed to the idea, but they didn't want me to be super like wishy-washy,
Yeah.
clarinet, percussion, now guitar, then banjo, something like that.
hmm
um then I ended up getting the acoustic. I nagged enough, learned a couple chords, I enjoyed it, and then about a month later they ordered me one of those like starter kits. You get like an amp, a guitar which I still
Ooh.
have. I wish I still had the amp. And then joined a couple bands. About a year later, I was in a garage band. Went to another, and then I joined a metal band at the time because I listen to metal. I'm a metal guy. Played with them. Played some cool shows. Did a headlining show in Chicago, which isn't as cool as
Ooh.
it sounds because
That
we were.
sounds really cool.
It wasn't as cool as it sounds. I promise you. Then I left that band, kind of parted ways, hoping that something else would come along. And about a couple months after not doing anything, I was actually on my way back from school, and my dad shot me a text of a screenshot of a country band in the area looking for a guitar player. And I kind of brushed it off because I didn't think, I was a kid, and I never played country. So if I played country music at the time, it would just be like slamming chords,
Yeah.
not country at all. I kind of told them that they wouldn't want a kid, so I did it anyway. Set up an audition. About a week after that, I was practicing with them, so it was pretty cool. And in that band, I met my mentor, Tom Zank, which was actually the guitar player of a touring band that was in the area, Hoosier Highway.
Oh,
And he
nice.
kind of opened my country playing a lot more because I was doing like making this stuff a lot heavier than it needs to be, turning into rock metal songs. Um, then he just shot me some songs, and then each practice I would come back with like a Brent Mason, which is a country guitar player. I would learn his solos each practice. I would show them to him, and that's kind of what got me into country music and just music in general.
Nice. So, how many bands would you say you've been in? Because that seems like a lot.
Not too many. I was in a band called Silent Spectrum. Then I went to a garage band, which didn't really have a name. Um, Went back to the original band I was in, left that, then went to metal band, then left that, went to the country, left that one, went to another country band. So about 6 or 7.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
that's honestly insane.
yeah, it's pretty
I could not
pretty cool.
imagine. So, what type of music did you first end up playing? I know we talked a little bit about that earlier.
When I first started, it would be like Arctic Monkeys and stuff like that, stuff that I can't believe I used to listen to because not really my favorite. Then I've always been kind of into like heavier music, like metal stuff like that. So then started doing that. Um, when I was growing up, when I was like little, I worked with my dad, and he would always have country music playing. I'd never enjoy it. I'd always kind of berate him for it. I would just always hate it, just hate the sound. Um, but then I just kind of ignored him. I just ignored what he listened to, played metal, then got into country. But I still metal's like all I listen to now. There's never really a time where I'm like, let's sit down and listen to country music. Not too often. Um, I just enjoy it more for like the sound of the guitar and like the technique required to play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, like, growing up, my parents always listened to country music, and I'm always like, it's country. Like, I
Yeah.
don't see, like, the hype around it. But now I'd say, like, I'm the same way. I wouldn't ever sit and be like, I'm gonna listen to some country.
Right.
But, like, if a country song just so happens to start playing,
I'm not
listen to
necessarily
it.
going to turn it off,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Unless it's like really bad.
Mm-hmm. So that's going to lead us into our first song, which is actually Brent Mason, but
Brent-
you're playing it.
Brent
so.
Mason, Hot Wired. Yep.
Yep. So that last song was David playing Brent Mason, and I think that sounded pretty cool. not
Yep.
gonna lie.
It's a pretty cool song. Brent Mason's pretty much the only guitarist that I'm like really inspired by in like the country genre. There's a couple other guys, but everything I play, I kind of try to add like, what would Brent do? How would he make it sound? Kind of.
Yeah.
I just really enjoy his tone, everything he does. Yeah.
Nice. So now, how did you become Ashland's guitarist?
So there's a guy named Nate Venturelli in the area, musician, really really good musician, great dude, and I kind of got connected with his manager, and he messaged me. He's like, "Give me a call." So I gave him a call, and he kind of set me up with Ashlyn. He said she was looking for a guitar player. Well, actually, let me rephrase, I guess. After I left the last country band I was in, my dad actually sent him a message because he's friends with him on Facebook, and he kind of said, my kid's out of a band. Do you know of anything that he can get into? And he was Gary Flanagan, which is his name. He was like, yeah, I got an idea. Give me a couple days. Let me see what happens. I'll talk to him. And then gave him a call. He kind of got me set up with her. I was kind of like torn between it because I didn't really want to do acoustic because that's not like my first choice.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, in life, you don't always get what you want to do.
Very true.
So I kind of bit the bullet, and so to speak, and learned the acoustic stuff. And now I'm really enjoying it because it kind of forced me to do something I don't like, and kind of forced me into liking it. Like playing country music when I first started, didn't like it. Now that's all I play. But that's kind of how I got hooked up with her.
Nice. Now, like, what are your future plans, if you have any?
My goal really hasn't changed much since I started. The goal is to be able to do it like full time. And it takes a lot of work. And there's so many different ways that you can make a living out of it, but it's how consistent will it stay? Because the music industry is ever changing. It's never going to stay the same. Couple years, I'd like to go down to Nashville, play up on Broadway. They have some bars down there that a lot of musicians go to. And Nashville has the best players down there, like, anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd like to go down there, kind of see what happens, meet a couple people I'm friends with down there that do work down there. Besides that, keep making, like, my content and stuff, get, bigger in that. Try to make money off of that because you can. It just takes a lot more work. Like to do session work eventually, which is where you record for other bands. You go in. They'll give you a song, and you have to make something up on the spot for the record. And that's actually what Brent Mason's the most known for being the pretty much number one session player down in Nashville. And that's kind of the plans for the future.
Nice.
a
Now,
lot of work, but
yeah.
I'd rather be able to wake up and do something I enjoy than go clock in to something I hate and kind of be a slave to the system kind of thing.
Oh, that is so true. We in my class the other day we had a whole conversation on how it's like better to love your job and love what you do
Right.
than hate your job and have to go
Right.
to work every day. So what would your like dream venue be?
Dream venue? I don't even know because there's so many different venues in the world. It's crazy. I just say I think the Grand Ole Opry would be nice. That's probably my number one where I'd like to play someday. Like
Nice.
if I get to play up there, I feel pretty good.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah,
That'd
it's
be
a very nice
cool.
place.
Now, how many shows have you like played so far? Like, in your whole
With like my whole
career-wise?
career. Um
Yeah.
I
Out
really
of
know how to-
curiosity, if you know.
yeah, I don't even know the answer off the top of my head. Not like a whole lot. With the last band the first country band I was in, I think we did like 60 that year. So
No,
it
you're like not a lot.
not
That
as much
sounds
as
like
not
a
as
lot.
much as it sounds. But I'd say maybe 90 or so in like my whole career, like 7 years of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then how many have you played with Ashlyn as her guitarist?
I'd say one real show. The other two were like test run. Well, okay, two shows. The first one was like a test run. It was just like an open mic thing.
Nice.
But two with her so far. But we have some more stuff that we're lining up.
Okay. Our next song is going to be Hard Hat by Nate Venturelli. So we're going to go ahead and go into that. that last song was an Nate Ventrelli song, and I'd say it's a pretty good song, not gonna lie. So now we talked a little bit earlier about like acoustic versus electric. So now which one do you prefer and why?
I definitely prefer electric because acoustic requires a lot more precision, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm a sloppy player because I don't know. Personally, I don't think I am, but
No, definitely not.
acoustic's a lot more natural. In the way of with electric, you have pickups and electronics, and they all process your playing to some extent. So if you have like little hiccups and mistakes, to an extent, they're hidden just because of processing, and then you go into the amp and then all that stuff. But with acoustic, it's literally just you and the strings. Like it's so much more natural, and mistakes are a lot more noticeable, and they're really really amplified almost.
Mhm.
They really stick out a lot more.
Yeah.
Like if you're off of a string just a little bit and you hit that like string buzz, fret buzz from not being on it properly, it'll scream out and stick out like a sore thumb.
And now, who are the people that you got like your influence from again?
I'd say my main influence is Brent Mason, just because of his technique and his sound. Roy Clark, he's a really good one. When he was around, he was one of the best. He was really good. Chuck Ward, he's Aaron Lewis's guitar player, plays down in Nashville. Tom Zank, because he was my mentor and all. And there's a couple others like in different subgenre or genres. Jason Richardson, just because of his ability to take like shreddy stuff and compose it in a way where it sounds like you're listening to a movie, almost like his music sounds like a movie soundtrack.
And then what specifically about like Brent's technique do you take away like the most?
When I first listened to his solos, I think what stands out the most is his sound. Every player to a certain extent has their own signature sound, but I think with I want to say oversaturation, but I'm going to say oversaturation of players. Everyone kind of gets lost in the mix, but there's something about Brent's playing that really stands out. Like if you play like 5 songs, guaranteed, I will be able to pick out Brent Mason because his tone is just so signature, and everything he does just really screams that that's his playing kind of thing.
That's really cool. I know like there's definitely a lot of different like musicians out there who are like,
Yeah.
okay, I draw inspiration from this
Yep.
person, from this person. I feel like you can learn like a lot about the individuals like playing based on their like influence.
Exactly, yeah. Everyone kind of derives something from other players to put into their own playing.
Oh
kind
yeah,
of
and
thing.
then it's like it's usually like, a huge combination of, like all the different artists
Mhm.
here that I personally love to see in like certain people's like playing. and
Right.
stuff. So would you say you're better at like electric or acoustic?
Definitely electric. It's a lot more comfortable, and with the guitar I play on, the one that I use like all the time pretty much, it just like kind of like a glove. It fits. Understand how to use it. It's just really comfortable. It's set up in such a way that I understand exactly how to use it, kind of thing. Just what's most comfortable.
And now we do have an audience question. So the audience question is, do you have like a signature, like just do you have a signature?
Like signature guitar,
Yeah,
signature
guitar playing.
signature playing. I wouldn't say I have like a signature sound yet. I think it really depends like what I'm playing. Like if I'm playing any song that has Brent Mason in it, I think it's pretty easy to pick up on, that's not Brent Mason, but I'm not well known enough to where people know my signature sound. But I think that with what I do, I kind of have some sort of a signature sound. So I'd like to think yes, kind of. Yeah.
And now like, do you ever see yourself like working towards having like your very own signature sound?
Yeah. I think once you get on enough songs, like Brent Mason, he's been on thousands of albums and, still adding. I think it really depends on how much you're on and how much people know your sound. Because if you hear a song, you hear another song and another, and they're all the same person, you're going to kind of pick up on their sound. It's going to kind of get imprinted into your brain that, wow, that's him playing on that one and that one and that one and so forth.
And now like, I know you mentioned going down to like Nashville and stuff. Like, how big would you want to be before you would go down to Nashville, wise?
Not so much like size. It's just more of playing ability. Being able to write stuff and improv stuff on the spot is a must for Nashville, because down there they're not going to be playing. They're not going to be like, hey, do you know this cover song? No, they're just going
Yeah.
to throw out songs. They're going to start playing. You have to be able to jump in, whether you've heard it or whether you haven't. And it really just boils down to me being able to hear a song and just jump in without even knowing it. I think once I'm able to do that, then I think I'll be ready. And there's so many different things that goes into it. It's not as simple as just start playing and you feel for the notes. You have to know some sort of theory behind it. What notes work, which ones don't, why do they work and why don't they? Stuff like that. The Nashville number system, that's pretty something that you need, and that's something that I've been learning a lot about. And there's just it just boils down to when I'm able to do that, I think I'll be ready to go down there.
And like, can you kind of explain like what the number system is? I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Man, okay. So basically, the Nashville number system is a way to call out chords. So in a setting, when you're playing in the key of G, a G, C, D chord progression, if you're on stage, no one's gonna yell out, "Hey, let's play a G, C, D." It's gonna be a 1, 4, 5 progression because of the numbers in the key of G. The numbers all pertain to what notes are in that key. So G is the 1, A is the 2, B is the 3, C is the 4, and 5 is the D, so on and so forth. And it's just a lot simpler way to be able to call out a chord progression. And what's nice about the number system is no matter what key you're in, different notes, different keys, obviously, it's still going to be the same progression. So if I'm doing a G, C, D progression and I want to play it in the key of A, it's still going to be the same movements because nothing changes. All the numbers in that scale are still the same. And the number system is just something that's really so crucial, not just in Nashville, but just in all music. I know a lot of people like it, a lot of people don't because they think it's too mathematic. Because you gotta know what numbers are in the scale, and then you gotta know how to read the minors and then transcribe them from their relative majors and minors. It's just a lot of thinking, but you kind of gotta know what you're doing before you do it. Because if you just jump up there and someone yells out, "Let's do a 1, 4, 5," and you don't know what you're doing, you're probably gonna make yourself look like a fool. So it's good to know that. And it's kind of confusing when you first do it, but once you understand how it works and the notes in each scale and how they move, how they are around the fretboard, it's a lot easier to kind of get used to.
And then how long would you say it took you to kind of like understand the numbers and stuff?
The number system, I started in the past month.
Really?
Because I just started like a dedicated practice routine because I never really had one. I would just play stuff, learn it from the songs, and that's kind of how I got my technique. But now I have an actual practice schedule. Hopefully I'm able to stick to it because I'm kind of an inconsistent person. It's hard for me to stay consistent and stay on a schedule.
No, felt that for sure.
Yeah, but I kind of implement different things into my practice schedule, and the number system is one of them. So for like 15, 20 minutes, I'll go through each key. Okay, key of G, what notes is there? What position would they be in? Like a 1, 4, 5 progression. Key of G, it'd be G, C, D, stuff like that. And key of A, it'd be A, D, and E. Just naming off the notes from each key and what number they would be in the scale helps a lot. And that's, what I've been doing. One of the things I've learned over the past month, I guess you'd say.
And then as someone who doesn't really like know much about guitar personally, is like the number system used for all different types of playing or just
like instruments or just
yeah.
playing in general?
Yeah, we'll go all instruments. And then
I'm not too sure about that. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to because music is just numbers pretty much.
Mm-hmm. So it's
notes are
used,
numbers.
Yeah, it's used in like all different like forms of guitar playing then? Like,
for sure.
Between like electric and acoustic wise.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's not just for electric, it's just for music all around. I wouldn't say that there's one certain theory technique that's based towards electric. Because theoretically you could use it for any other instrument because there's 7 notes in the musical alphabet excluding sharps and flats. And they're all the same for all instruments, so theoretically, yeah. You could use it for everything.
Yeah, and then what's the difference between like a sharp and a flat note?
Sharp note, the note is sharp. It just sounds a little bit sharper than the others. It's kind of hard to explain unless you have like an instrument, but you know it when you hear it. One note's sharp, one's flat. F sharp, F. Well, there's no F flat, but you get the gist.
Yeah. Seems like I don't know. I feel like guitar playing. There's like so much in like majors, minors, sharp notes. Like
You don't necessarily need to know theory behind it. Like you can just pick up a guitar, learn chords, play G, C, and D the whole time, and like have fun with it. Um, with anything, it's only as hard as you make it. Like I see a lot of people ripping on bass players. 4 strings got to be a lot easier. Oh, that's for babies. Anyone can play it. But not really. It's as hard as you make it. So you can make bass harder than guitar. You can make guitar harder than bass. It's just as hard as you make it. You forge your own path, I guess you'd say.
that's crazy. Like I don't know. I've tried playing a couple chords. Like last couple months, I've been trying to learn some stuff, but it's definitely difficult.
Yeah, if you've
That's
never done it
that's for
before,
sure.
it's something completely different because you're playing chords or something and you're in a weird position. You've never gone and made those weird finger positions before. So it's just something completely foreign that you kind of got to practice to almost reprogram your hands in a certain way.
That is crazy. We're now going to be going into our next song, which is a song actually played by you. It's Travis Tritt, Southbound Train. Okay, now I'm going to put you in the hot seat a little bit and
Okay.
ask you some like this or that questions. So, would you like dogs or cats? Let's be for real. And why?
Cats. because my family, we own a couple cats, so I'm gonna have to say cat.
See, I grew up having cats, but then like I think I was like 9 when we got a dog, and now forever I've been like, okay, dogs are the
They're-
way it is. Like,
I don't know. They're pretty self-sufficient, so like you just drop them a bowl of food, water, give them a place to do their business, and they're pretty self-sufficient. So
that's true.
yeah.
I like dogs because like I have a black lab
Mm.
and a silver lab. My black lab is like playful 24/7. I'm like, oh my gosh, you have a ball, throw it. But then I feel like cats, like they just sleep.
Right. Yeah.
Cats, they just
You
sleep all
just
day.
leave them. They just want to be left alone, pretty much.
And now, would you say that you prefer like, let's see, black or white, like color wise?
Black always.
Black. I mean,
Yeah,
you are wearing, you
what
are
I'm
wearing all black.
Yeah, always black. I have like 2 different shirts in my my closet. They're like different colors and still dark, like dark blue.
That's so fair. So you say like more like dark colors over light
Yeah,
colors?
always. Yeah.
See, I don't know. I'm a combination of both. Like I'll wear light colors like I am now, but then some days I'll wear darker
Yeah.
colors.
I
Like,
I
it just depends on
can't
my
wear
mood.
I can't wear bright colors. I don't want to stand out. I just want to kind of wear darker colors, kind of blend in.
And now like when I think metal, I think like darker colors.
Yeah.
So maybe that has some like little influence.
I've heard that before.
And now, okay, would you say that you're more of a car guy or a truck guy?
My wallet is not saying truck, but I like trucks, so I drive a car, so I'm gonna say car.
Okay, what would be like your, since you said like, if money wasn't an issue, like what would your dream truck
Oh.
be?
I don't know, probably something basic like anything but a Ford.
That's
So any
that's so
truck but a
true.
Ford.
That's so true. I know for the longest time, like when I was around like middle school age, all I wanted for some weird reason, I don't know why I wanted this. It was like a black lifted Chevy was like my dream truck for so long.
I used to be really into cars. I used to want a Tesla. Now I feel gross for wanting a Tesla.
Oh, Teslas are crazy. Oh my gosh, absolutely crazy. All right, now this one, I'm actually really curious about this one. Would you prefer like folk or pop?
God, that's a hard question. I'm gonna right at the bat. I'm gonna say folk because I hate pop music.
Really?
Hot opinion. I think it's just overproduced.
Okay,
like,
maybe.
That's just my opinion. There's so much like overproduction in it. I guess it really depends who it is, because there's a lot of pop singers that can sing really well, and there's ones that are just kind of a mask. Auto tune is their mask.
Oh, I hate
Like if you go into a studio, and you can't sing, they'll drop auto tune on you. You'll sound like, I don't know, Justin Bieber. You'll sound crazy.
Yeah, I would say like I don't know. I feel like in the music industry wise, auto tune it's
Very
bad.
overused.
It's so overused with so many different people. It's
Yeah.
like if you can either sing or you can't sing. It's
Like
that simple.
it's used enough to where there's people in concerts. I'm not going to say names because I really don't want to start anything. But there's guys that they'll be talking like between songs, and you'll hear the auto tune, and it'll sound like a robot talking.
Oh yeah.
Like people that use it during a concert. That just, I don't know. It just kind of screams laziness and just screams I can't sing.
No, exactly.
Just my opinion.
So you either have the talent to sing or
Right.
you don't. But then auto tune's like, here, I'll give you the
Right,
talent.
pretty much. Drop in the key of the song and you're good to go.
I feel like it just takes away from like other like naturally talented musicians.
Yep. And there's a lot of them that are super underground and never get discovered. But in the music industry, if you got money, you can go a long way.
Oh, that's
So it doesn't
100%
matter
true.
if you can't sing a note to save your life. If you got money, you're set.
If you got money, good marketing,
Yeah.
boom.
Yep.
But then like the more underground, it's like, well,
The people that don't
You're
have as much
underground.
exposure, right?
exactly.
Like there's super talented people, but they can't get exposure, not being able to do shows, post content, whatever it may be. So they're just kind of locked in that void of not getting discovered kind of thing.
Exactly. And like getting discovered nowadays, I feel like is so hard because like you have like the main like
Mhm.
big artists, and everyone's like, oh yeah, it's just like all about them. It's
Yep.
like, well, what about the smaller artists? who are trying to
Especially
get
on
discovered?
things like TikTok. Like
oh my gosh, yes.
I feel like TikTok. We have an hour discussion on this, but I feel like
Mhm.
TikTok is just brain rot.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's videos on there that are viral for no reason. I saw a video of a piece of pizza floating in a bathtub that had 2.1 million likes.
No, for real.
And then you scroll down and there's like musicians that are covering songs that sound like stupidly good, and they have like 50 likes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't understand that. I guess that's just kind of a generational thing. My generation isn't exactly the smartest when it comes to social media, I guess you would say. I kind of try to kind of stray away from that and be on the more serious side of TikTok or just social media in general. But I think it's one of those things that are really oversaturated with a lot of content that shouldn't be on there.
Oh yeah, TikTok is definitely scary. I once
Mhm.
saw I think it was a video of a chocolate covered strawberry that had like 4 million something
Yeah,
views, and I'm like, what is the point of this?
It's crazy. Like,
Like the likes are crazy. Like, why is this why?
mm-hmm.
That's some things on TikTok are crazy. But I know I've found some smaller artists. Like there was an artist who I started following, and I'm actually gonna be going to a concert of that soon, which is pretty cool. But I feel like the smaller artists, once TikTok wise, once they start getting a following, it definitely helps.
It picks,
a lot.
yeah, for sure. That initial when you first start out, unless you do a video of something so stupid and just so out of this world
Yeah.
that you can go from 0 to 1,000,000. But if you have genuine content, it'll take a lot more time. But once you build up that following and gain consistency, and you consistently post, you post good content, you don't do stupid things, I think you definitely gain the right following. Because there's with any social media, I think there's a right following and a wrong following. You can say that you have 1,000,000 followers, but how many of those 1,000,000 followers are there to actually consume and enjoy your content? 500,000 of them could just be people that hate you and want to see you fail, but they want to
Exactly.
subscribe to be able to see you fail along the way. So it just, you got to find the right audience for your niche or whatever you do, kind of thing.
That's very true. Very true. I know, I don't know. I've seen some artists on TikTok wise. They're oh, one day they're huge, and then the next day they have 0 likes.
Yeah.
It's okay, well,
Yeah.
everyone just forgot about
That's
that. They had one viral
the
video.
algorithm is always changing. That's something that's kind of stressful when you post content, because when I do a video, I'll put 10 hours into one video, and then you kind of got to stress is this video going to do good or is it going to do bad? Because the YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, whatever algorithm is always changing. It never stays the same. So you got to kind of have some sort of a routine of when you post and kind of find that day that kind of works for you. Day, hour, whatever you want. But the algorithm's super difficult to navigate around. And that's what correlates to what you just said. People getting 1,000 likes, and the next day they get 2.
Oh yeah.
So it's just the algorithm is an entirely different beast on its
Mm-hmm.
own. And that's why a lot of people have, talent agencies, people that'll post their content, so all they got to worry about is making the content. Ship it out to someone, they'll find the right algorithm and stuff, but, it costs money. So
Oh yeah. I know the algorithms are definitely really, really hard to keep up with. Sometimes I'm how are you keeping up with this? How are you staying relevant? Definitely with TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, staying relevant is probably the hardest thing.
Following
you can do.
trends. You got to follow trends which I guess it's hypocritical of me to say, because I don't follow trends. I'm more of a serious person. I don't like to jump onto that stupid stuff. There's one guy that played a song that was just 2 notes, and it was a meme, but he had 1,000,000 likes. I've had people tell me, do something stupid, do a meme. Well, that's just not who I am. I can't ever see myself, and if I do, you can call me a sellout, but I can't ever really see myself doing that. I'm more of a serious person. Even if it kind of hinders my ability to grow super quick, I still don't want to. I want to do nothing like that.
I mean, yeah, it's better to grow slowly and stay true to yourself.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden just grow really fast because you're
Exactly.
just following the random trends, but it's not you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So now let's go back to the little bit of this or that. Coffee or pop?
Coffee for sure.
Coffee?
Like
And
iced
why
coffee, yeah.
Ooh, iced coffee.
Yeah.
What specific type of iced coffee?
French vanilla.
I've
yep.
never had French vanilla.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I'll have to try that. I'm more of a caramel for sure. I'm
Yeah.
definitely my go-to Starbucks order personally is a caramel crunch frappuccino because I'm basic like that, I
Yeah,
guess.
just French vanilla from Dunkin' Donuts. I'm happy.
I'll definitely have to try that. I haven't really had much Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
Yeah, it's good. It's decent. It's something. It gets you awake, I guess.
Yeah.
It's pretty decent.
So now between Starbucks and Dunkin', I'm guessing you'd pick Dunkin'.
Yeah, Starbucks is a little too expensive.
That's so
it's
true.
pretty
So
pricey.
true.
Yeah. But I don't really go to Dunkin' Donuts a whole lot. There's There's a place in Hobart called Farmhouse Coffee. They have really good stuff. I usually go there. Or Teaterry over in Portage because I like tea a lot.
Ooh,
So
I
it's usually
love
between
tea.
those two. It's not. I don't usually go to Dunkin' Donuts a lot, but if I do, I just get the iced coffee.
And now, what's like your favorite kind of tea?
Green tea for sure.
Okay, me and you are best friends now.
Yeah.
That was literally like all I drink
Yeah,
is green tea.
tea's what's up.
I'm weird. I have like this very, very green tea, like tea packets, and no sugar.
Really?
I'm weird like that. I'm so weird like that. I know.
I can't.
I've
I
had
can't
so
do
many
that.
people be like, "How can you do that?" I'm like,
No, I
don't
gotta
know.
add something to it. I can't just take the natural flavor of it.
And then I'm like iced coffee, like black coffee. Personally, like I started drinking black coffee, but then all of a sudden I was like, "Oh, this
Oh,
like sugary
God.
iced coffee is pretty good."
Not black coffee, please no.
I started drinking black coffee when I was in elementary school.
Yeah.
Like, watered down
God.
coffee, obviously. And we kind of talked like I don't know a little bit earlier, but what's your favorite ice cream flavor and why?
I'd mint chocolate chip for sure. I just really enjoy it. I like mint and chocolate chip's cool, so you combine together, perfect.
I so agree. Like I've loved mint chocolate chip since I was a kid. Like that's always been my go-to order. Like what kind of ice cream? Mint chocolate chip instantly. Like please. And a lot of people are like, "Ew, mint chocolate chip. Like it tastes like toothpaste and chocolate."
Yeah.
But like, I've heard so many people say that. It's crazy. I don't understand it. All right, now would you say like, if you had to either watch a movie or a TV series, which would you
TV
pick?
series, I have a horrible attention span. So
Felt that.
watching a movie that's 3 hours can turn into 2 days for me.
No,
So
that's
TV
true.
shows a lot better. That's like 40 minutes. That's like the perfect amount of time. I started watching House. That's a really good show. So yeah, TV show for sure. I do not have the attention span for movies anymore.
I don't have an attention span for most things. I'm the type of person who, if I'm watching TV, I have to be doing something else.
Yeah.
So like I'll be
Can't
on my
sit
computer
still.
playing
Yeah.
video games while watching like some random show or movie. Cause I'm like I can't sit still and watch. one.
Right.
It's bad when all my friends get together. We have like okay, we're gonna watch like Game of Thrones or something. Nope, we talked through the entire movie. Don't ask me anything that happened. I don't remember.
Yeah, attention spans lacking in my department for sure.
Oh yeah. And now would you say like sports or video games?
Games, I know literally not one thing about sports. Not one thing. When I was in band, we do like the marching band at the football games. I'd like almost fall asleep during like when we're not playing. So games for sure. It's just more appealing to me, I guess. More fun, I guess. But everyone has their own thing, so I'm not knocking it.
No, I so agree. Like I've played. Oh my gosh, in my like middle school to like senior year of high school, I've played so many different sports, but for some reason I'm like, you know what? Video games are just better. Like it's simply like I'll go play Minecraft for like 3 hours. Like I don't so let's see. Do you have any like pre-show rituals that you do before you like perform?
I'm a weirdo, so I'll wash my hands a few times. I have to wash my hands so many times a day. It's crazy. But like before a show, if I don't wash my hands, I know that that's going to be a terrible show just because I have to have that clean feeling. I wash my hands, kind of take a deep breath, so to speak, and then shake, stretch my hands. Because there's a lot of people that can just go on, just pick up and play. I can't do that. I have to be like ready for it. And it definitely helps to prevent like injury, straining something or something like that. So, yeah, I'd say those 3 things is what I do. I kind of like to run through the songs in my head. I'll like visualize the fretboard, and if I know a song well enough, I'll know like where it's at in my head without having the guitar in my hand. Yeah, so I'd say those 3 or 4 things technically.
Nice. Oh, that's crazy. Like I know like there's some artists out there who have like crazy like pre-show rituals, and I'm like, how do you even have time to do all that before like you
a lot
perform
of
on
the
stage?
country guys can have some crazy ones. Take however many shots before a show, and then stumble on stage, try to remember the lyrics.
No, for real, like they're crazy. Like I don't understand. Some artists I'm like why? Why do you do the things
like
you do?
Zach Bryan before shows, he tries to get I think it's like 10 or 15,000 steps in before a show.
Really?
Which is pretty crazy. Yeah, I saw a video on that.
Is he like sitting there like just?
No, he'll like
Just
either
walking
run around the venue or just like run around the nearby area.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine like he's just like running through like the audience or something.
Yeah.
Like, that would be crazy. Oh, that'd be crazy. All right. So thank you for your time on here. I've enjoyed it.
Yep, thank you
Hope
for
you
having
have
me. It's
too.
been a lot of fun.
And now, where can we like find your stuff at?
TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, David Jones Music. You'll see the logo or the dude with the backwards hat. That's me, so you know who it is. Anywhere, just David Jones Music, and you'll find me. Hit follow and subscribe. I appreciate it. It helps a lot. Yeah.
I mean, I know you've at least gained 1 follower and subscriber. So.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. This last song is Morgan Wallen. So let's get into that.